Before I even moved into my new house, my parents decided it should be used by my brother and his family. When I refused, they kept pushing, showed up uninvited, and tried to move in while I was away. Spent 6 years working 80-hour weeks as an industrial pipe fitter to buy my first home. No loans from relatives, no handouts, just sweat, missed holidays, and a ruthless savings account. 2 weeks before closing, I finally signed the deed on a 4-bedroom house with a fenced backyard on a quiet acre of land. It was everything I had ever wanted. I invited my parents and my older brother Greg over for dinner to celebrate. Halfway through the meal, my dad cleared his throat, placed his fork down, and leaned across the table. "So Greg's lease on the apartment is up at the end of the month," Dad said, as casually as if he were discussing the weather. "With 3 kids and a baby on the way, they're out of room. We decided it makes the most sense for Greg and Sarah to take this house." I froze, waiting for the punchline. "Excuse me? You're a single guy," my mom chimed in, smiling like she was giving me a gift. "You don't need 4 bedrooms. You can take over Greg's 2-bedroom rental, or just take the basement here once they settle in. It's the right thing to do." Greg didn't even look up from his plate. He just nodded and said, "It's closer to the kids' school anyway. Saves us a lot of hassle." I didn't yell. I just looked at all 3 of them and so clearly. "No, this is my house. I bought it. Nobody is moving in." The atmosphere turned instantly hostile. Dad slammed his hand on the table, calling me selfish. Mom started crying, accusing me of abandoning my own flesh and blood. Greg told me I was hoarding space I didn't deserve. I stood up, walked to the front door, and told them to leave. Over the next week, the pressure escalated into outright harassment. Dozens of missed calls, threatening texts from extended relatives, and passive-aggressive voicemails from my mother claiming Greg had already started packing their boxes. I knew how they operated, so I didn't take any chances. Before leaving for a mandatory 4-day corporate safety conference out of state, I installed a hardwired 4K security system with perimeter sensors, 2-way audio, and direct cloud recording. On Saturday morning, while sitting in a hotel conference room 300 miles away, my phone buzzed violently. Motion detected driveway. Motion detected front porch. I opened the live feed. A massive U-Haul truck was backed into my driveway. My brother was unloading a sofa. My sister-in-law was carrying boxes onto the porch, and my father was standing at my front door with a crowbar, actively wedging it into the deadbolt frame of my side entrance. They genuinely believed that if they forced their way in and unpack their furniture, squatter-friendly local laws or family guilt would stop me from kicking them out. My mother was on the porch laughing and saying, "Don't worry about the lock. He's too weak to do anything once we're already inside." The audio captured every single word in crystal clear high definition. I didn't call my father. I didn't text my brother to beg them to stop. I took a deep breath, dialed the local police dispatch directly, and gave them my address. "I am the sole legal homeowner of this property," I told the dispatcher calmly. "I am currently out of state. I'm watching a live security feed of multiple individuals breaking into my home with a crowbar, destroying the entryway, and attempting to move unauthorized property inside. I have the title deed and live footage. I want them removed, and I want full criminal charges pressed, because I emphasized active property destruction and an ongoing burglary." 3 squad cars arrived within 8 minutes. I watched the entire scene play out on my screen. The police rolled up silently, blocking the U-Haul. My dad dropped the crowbar as officers stepped out with hands on their holsters, ordering everyone to freeze. My dad started screaming, "This is my son's house. We have permission." The lead officer approached the front door camera and held up his radio. I activated the 2-way audio on the camera. "Officer?" My voice echoed loudly across the front yard. "This is the homeowner speaking. That man does not live there. No one has permission to enter." The crowbar in his hand was used to destroy my door. "I want everyone on this property arrested for felony breaking and entering, trespassing, and destruction of property." The look of sheer paralyzing terror on my brother's face was absolute perfection. My mother burst into hysterical sobs as the officers handcuffed my father and escorted Greg to the back of a cruiser. The police ordered the moving truck, impounded as evidence, in a criminal trespass investigation, leaving their unpacked furniture sitting on the damp curb in the rain. When I got back, I didn't just let the criminal charges run their course. I took a high-definition security footage, complete with my mother's mocking comments and my dad breaking the door frame, and uploaded the raw file straight into the extended family group chat, tagging every aunt, uncle, and cousin who had called me selfish. The silence was deafening. The guilt-tripping stopped permanently. Dad took a plea deal for criminal trespass and paid $6,000 in property restitution, while Greg had to scramble to find emergency storage he couldn't afford. I fixed the door frame, set the alarms, and slept in my new home in total unbroken peace.